back to the Robbins Business Show. Great to have you back as usual. And the Robbins Show is all about developing your best business ideas. And we want to help, encourage you. We want to be cheerleaders. We want to be assistants. We want to provide, technical data, ideas.
I left my pom-poms in the car.
He left his pom-poms in the car. What can I do?
I do that all the time.
It's hard to get good help these days.
I know.
Anyway, this is Fox Robbins. I'm Bill Fox, one of the co-hosts of the show. The other co-host is none other than the omnipresent, ebullient, electric Coach Robbins.
Mr. Bill.
Coach.
How are you?
Good to see you back.
Good to be back.
We need you today because we're going to do a thing on clever ideas for creative thinking. I know that it's got to be a process, Coach. I mean,
It is.
You think that just taking a shower that you're going to be struck by the best idea.
It's
you
hard.
Be fooling
It's hard
yourself.
work. It's hard work.
And for small business, I mean, it's great. I mean, does a small business have vast conference room with a marble top table and the soft chairs and the coffee service, or no. I mean, small business people are always at work trying to keep the tigers away from the door,
That's
but
right.
there's still whether you're big, small, medium, doesn't matter. Creative thinking is important in the business.
Otherwise, you're not going to stay in business. You're not going to sustain the business.
The first thing I want to ask you about is. We have a regular feature on the Fox Robbins Business Show because of Cliff's wide experience with mass small business development, and he talks to all kinds of people in all venues, coming from all different directions.
And everywhere.
Something like over the last 10 years, over 2,500.
2,800.
2,800
companies or people trying to start a company.
Coach is a busy man, but he has a wide angle lens of what's going on with small business. That's the point here.
Yeah, my wife told me that I should lose a few pounds.
So we have a feature called Cliff Robbins Speaks, and Cliff, what do you got for us today?
Bill, thank you very much. Today, in line with what the show's going to be about, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the trite expression of thinking out of the box. Right? Today's show is all about creativity. It's all about innovation. It's all about brainstorming, if you will. We're going to get into it pretty deep. I have a friend who wrote a book. This friend, gentleman, well, I'll mention his name, Tom Monahan, big advertising agency. Mm-hmm. And he wrote the book about how hard it is to come up with new ideas, and talk about needing to come up with new ideas. Advertising agencies, that's what they do. And his book entitled, and you get a kick out of this, Give Yourself a Lobotomy, all right,
oh my goodness,
had some wonderful...
That's rather drastic, isn't it?
Well, let's take some drastic things sometimes. He talks about things like 100-mile-an-hour thinking, 180-degree thinking. We'll get into this stuff in the show. The bottom line to being entrepreneurial, intrapreneurial if you're with a big company, innovative. If you're not doing it, your competition is going to do it, and they're going to take a step ahead of you, and you're not going to be the company you need to be. You need to be doing something clever, different, better for your customers to stay one step ahead of the competition. We talk about in marketing all the time about a unique selling proposition, about coming up with a competitive advantage so that you can make more money, above average returns, to use professor speak.
Sure. This
is what this show is all about. This show is all about being clever, coming up with ideas, and taking a step ahead of the competition.
Right. We're gonna be challenging your thinking today.
My thinking is always challenged.
And speaking of which, the number one item on my list is to challenge obsolete assumptions.
Nobody in my company, one of the first things I ever said when I bought a company, added a division, opened a new store, there's two things you don't say to me, ever. If I say to you, why are you doing that? If you say to me, well, we always do it this way, I'd shoot you. Find a better way. Why are you doing that? You know, oh, we always did it this way. Well, come on, think about it. Use your brain if you've got one, you know.
Right.
Think of something better to do. That doesn't seem like the best way to do something. You need to challenge old assumptions. Now, the old assumption might still stick, but at least challenge the darn thing,
Right.
you know.
Right.
Say, why do we do these things? You know, don't just block out new ideas. You're going to fall behind the curve if you do.
In fact, you want to welcome serendipity. I mean, that's a big word, but
You bet.
You know, it's the idea of, you know, the submarine, have your periscope up above the water,
Look around.
you know, looking around.
You know, don't
seeing-
just stay under the surface and continue to roll along because you feel, hey, we're okay. No, get above there, take a look around the environment, the external environment, the internal environment. We talk about SWOT analysis all the time. What's going on in the outside environment? What threats are coming at me? As you're a submarine, you better have that thing up. There might be just a tin can coming at you with some something that could destroy you. You want to see it and get the heck out of there.
I don't know. I had there was a saying. Satchel Paige once said, "Don't look in the rearview mirror. Somebody might be catching up to you."
Well, you can't drive the car in the rearview mirror. You got to look through the windshield. Okay, look forward. I mean, the rearview mirror is where you've been. You might take a look through the windshield. You know, unless you're in one of the new cars that's going to stop automatically, you might hit something.
You're supposed to, Coach. My item number 3 is you're supposed to listen to the voices.
Well, I have voices going off in my head. Well, you knew this all the time, and sometimes they scare the heck out of me. But no, you're driving along and you're just thinking, and you hear something, you hear somebody talking to you, and you're not sure exactly why. And then the other thing is, I have my iPhone with me, and I will record that. I say, let me check this out. This might be a good idea.
Yeah.
Trust your gut, Jack Welch, you know, the book. Trust your gut, listen to those voices. There might be something in there.
Well, but that listening then it's I'm going to call it a discipline. I mean, something that you need to be aware of
Absolutely.
and think about.
It's happening.
Talk to yourself and teach yourself and say, I need to listen.
Right. I need to just relax. I need to close the office door. I need to shut off the phones, and I just have to listen and think about something for a little while without angst, peacefully, you know, solving a problem, thinking of something new to do. Right. You got to set time aside to do these things. Yeah.
So there is as a discipline or training of sorts. I mean, you got to think about it and in order to listen. And this is one thing. It's along the same line that we're talking about challenging the obsolete assumptions, welcoming serendipity. Is my item number 4, Coach, is suspend judgment.
Eliminate it for now. I mean, brainstorming, when you do brainstorming, I tell people, and using some of Tom's ideas, okay, guys, we're in the conference room. We have this problem. We've clearly identified the problem. I want 25 ideas in the next half hour, and I'm going to write them on this board. And I want them bang, bang, bang. I don't want to hear somebody say, how about this, boss? And then somebody else say, well, no, that's not going to work. This is not the place to judge the idea. Just let's put the ideas up. We'll work them later. But when you're brainstorming, judgment is out of the question. Right. I don't care what the person says. I don't care how stupid you think it is. We're writing it down. It might just be something good.
And I'm going to move you on to another idea in creative thinking is using analogy as a stepping stone.
Yep.
Look at other models in existing products and other organizations. You teach that too.
I teach that all the time, and I use, again, Jack Welch, arguably the greatest CEO of the 20th century. And he said to people, I don't have to think up everything good. I don't have to. Look, we all have to learn. There's a lot of smart people out there. So learn to steal with dignity. Okay, that's a great idea. I think I'll do that.
One thing about analogy also is it occurs to me, you know, that you're in a sector, you're in the restaurant business, you're in the your manufacturing, your service provider,
Yeah.
whatever you're up to. But there could be this analogy thing. There could be ideas in practice by other types of industries.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So you don't want to do this blind.
Well, one of the things
stuff.
that Tom talks about in Give Yourself a Lobotomy is what he calls intergalactic thinking. Hey, if the Martians are doing it and it's cool, maybe we can do it here. You know?
Don't be focused strictly on your type of business. Somehow have your mind narrowed down and only ideas that revolve around your restaurant business are valid. There could be ideas outside of that.
Could be something in the flower business. I mean, you just don't know. Just take the blinders off, open your eyes and open your mind, and steal with dignity if you see a good idea.
Another one I have to throw at you is, excuse me, I'm sorry about bug in my throat. Tolerate ambiguity. That you need a high threshold of tolerance for uncertainty or complexity, things like that. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. It's you have to have confidence, self-confidence. You have to be able to accept failure. I mean, you know, if I played baseball for a living, all right, and if I failed 70% of the time, I'd be making $20 million a year because I'd be batting 300. That's okay, okay, all right? No, you have to accept sometimes things aren't going to be good, but you have to have confidence, and you have to have what's known as an internal locus of control. The ability to throw out something, hey, I am expert in throwing out stupid ideas, and it doesn't bother me. You know what? Once in a while, my stupid ideas actually gets massaged into something good. It's not often, but that's okay. But just have the confidence to say, we don't know if this thing is going to work. This is brand new, all right? Who the heck ever thought that we would want a telephone in our pocket?
Yeah.
And this thing is a heck of a lot more than a telephone, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is.
All right? They didn't ask, do you want a phone in your little pocket? No, they just went out and said, hey, we're going to invest billions of dollars. This is going to be a great device.
Well, you know, that guy, Steve Jobs, I mean, he's heralded, but he definitely was swimming upstream. Nobody was, I don't know that there was a market demand.
Well, for what? They didn't know
No.
there was.
Well, we already had the phones, you know.
Well, Henry Ford said it best. If I asked people what they wanted, they'd say faster horses. Right? They didn't know anything about an internal combustion engine in a car, and Steve Jobs didn't go out and say, would you like a cell phone? A what? You know?
And other people were, at the time he was developing, wasn't that thing called a BlackBerry?
Yeah.
What dominated all. I mean, that was for a
huge.
smartphone.
I had one.
So there was something out there already.
Right, and they tweaked it and made it better, and they're doing okay.
But he swam upstream anyway.
So, always. Well, he's an artist. He was a different type of thinker in the first place. Right. Brilliant guy.
There's another idea to throw at you called idea banking. This is exercising curiosity, observation, listening, reading. You advocate for that too.
Absolutely. I mean, look at my look at my office. By the way, look in my office. Don't go in my office. There are books all over the floor. There are journals everywhere. I told my wife when we first met, if you go in my office, okay, tie a rope around your waist and on the doorknob because you may not be able to find your way out. Absolutely. Very similar to the Periscope analogy. Read journals, you know, go to meetings, talk to people, be curious. Curiosity is a wonderful thing.
That was, speaking of office, they had a retirement of Morley Safer from the 60 Minute show. He's a famous guy and whatever, but they took pains to to photograph his office, which is, looks like an atomic explosion went off in there or whatever, but they...
Actually, several went off in my office. But I know where all that junk is.
So you're not alone with
Over
that.
1,000 books on business. They're piled on the floor. My marketing books are piled up over here. As long as I can read the end cap, I can always get at them.
Now there's this another idea called one a day. I mean, the idea that you're a boss, you own the company, you were a boss. And this idea here is asking the people working for you asking them, challenging them to improve one aspect of his or her a job or work or whatever they're doing. I mean, say, please come up with something new.
Yeah. The Japanese call it kaizen.
Yeah, kaizen, continuous improvement.
Continuous incremental improvement. I don't care if it's something as simple as say, you know what? I'm left-handed. The bucket's over there. I'd like to put the bucket over here. Not that you have to ask, and I'm being facetious on purpose.
Sure.
That's better because you're writing, you grab it and you throw it away. Or maybe you like to throw it away with the right hand, and even though you're left-handed, you want it on the right side. I don't know. Continuous, thinking about how can I do my job better? How can I make it easier for me? How can I help this company advance? And the littlest, I've said this 1,000 times, I don't care what company it is on this planet. I can walk into your company, I'll find something you can do better. I mean, there's got to be something. There's always something.
And speaking of those ideas, brainstorming, there may be such a thing as a brainstorming bulletin board, have a board for people to put Post-its or put notes of different ideas. I don't know, I haven't seen many businesses do that, but that sounds like a good idea to me.
Well, it's kind of like the bulletin board or the idea box or suggestion box. I think it's a great idea. Somebody, you know what? I've told the story probably way too many times. I was waiting at the counter one day because it was busy, and a truck driver from one of my biggest customers said to me, "Hi, I'm here to pick up the order that was called in." I said, "Okay," and our process was, it was written, put on a clipboard, and the counterman that took his number would go and put the order up. And he says, "Geez, why don't you put the order up before I get here?" This is somebody's truck driver. I said, "Gee, that makes sense." You stand here, you wait at the counter, and then when you get here, I put the order up. I mean, why doesn't somebody take the order, the counterman, the guy taking the order on inside sales, go out, give it to somebody, they can pick the order, put it in the box. It's ready for when you come. And I said, how about this? I expanded on it. How about if I just open up a counter over there for will call at the side door? And this is before Dunkin' Donuts had a drive-up window. I had a drive-up window for people picking up electrical products. Everybody copied it, of course. It wasn't a competitive advantage, nor is any competitive advantage good for long, because the competition says, that's a great idea, let's steal with dignity. It wasn't my idea. It was the truck driver's idea. I just thought, wow, this is good. Who knows a business better about truck driving than he does? Not me.
You could go on another point of view idea is the idea lottery, say monthly or quarterly idea lottery. Each employee gets a ticket, or he or she comes up with an idea. I don't know. It's sounds kind of corny, but what's your take? An idea
I don't think
lottery?
It's corny at all. I think people need to be rewarded. I think simple rewards, like a couple of tickets to the local play or to the Bruins, whatever it is, and say, this is the idea section. We're going to have all these ideas. Whether we implement them or not is immaterial, but every month we're going to get together. We're all going to vote on what we think the best idea is, even before we may have implemented the idea. And whoever wins gets a ticket to take his wife out to dinner at, Hojo's.
Along that same line of generating ideas is called brainstorming with burritos.
I like that.
That's like lunchtime meetings with small groups and initiate creative thinking and share ideas.
What I used to do, it wasn't burritos, it was eggs.
Eggs?
Eggs. I would, and my managers at every one of my stores knew, I would take 3 or 4 people out, truck driver, maybe a shipping guy, one of the countermen, inside salesman. I'd take 2, 3 people out to breakfast on occasion and say, give me some ideas on how we can run this, you can do your job better, what you see that the company could do better. I just buy them breakfast. And they knew, hey, Wednesday morning, the chief, they called me there. I'm coach now, I was chief then. I always get these nicknames, it seems. Come in, we're going to go out to breakfast. I got to think of some ideas maybe. They give them some ideas. And then I would sit with the manager, who felt very comfortable about it. I'm not looking over the manager's shoulder.
Yeah.
And say, here's some of the ideas these guys came up with. What do you think? Any of them any good? Most of the time, we didn't come up with, the next great, thing. But again, in line with Kaizen, incremental improvements. You should always looking to fix things, make them better.
The another take on that would be notebooks all around. The idea you said that maybe you think of an idea now. You can use your smartphone and say,
Right.
I get that idea.
I always had a spiral pad on the seat of the car.
Yeah.
I always have a spiral pad by my bed at night.
Right.
Because I'm thinking of something and I can't get to sleep because I'm thinking of, I think this might work. And I'd write it on a notebook, get it out of the scary place, and the next morning, great, absolutely.
Speaking of generating ideas, a stupid idea week. Well, I don't know. That may sound off-putting. It's just a funny way of saying.
I love it.
One of the things about in life is that we like to say no. There is no such thing as a stupid idea.
Right.
Ideas have a inherent value.
Yeah. It's an idea.
Yeah, it's an idea,
Yeah.
and so you want to fight against that. If I'm thinking of an idea, I'm not going to approach you because I'm thinking about it and I'm making a calculation, and I say, that's a
judging.
stupid idea. So
You can't
I
judge.
never talk to you.
Yeah. It's a shame.
I didn't write it in a notebook. I didn't post it on the board because I prejudged. I thought, well, that sounds like a stupid idea.
Well, what this is talking about is we have to come up with the stupidest idea at this meeting. And by the way, this is something else Tom Monahan talks about, and give yourself a lobotomy, is 180-degree thinking. We have a problem. How do we solve it? We can't figure it out. Okay, let's see. How can we make it worse? And you come up with a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
And the example he gives is the train.
Yeah.
The trains we used to be going through the West, and if a mouse ate through the brakes, the train lost its hydraulics and lost its braking system, and it was going to go plowing right through the next station. You can't stop a runaway freight train.
Yeah.
Well, how do we fix this? I mean, mice are going to get in there. They're going to break. We can't make the lines impervious. So they said, okay, how can we make it worse? All right. They said, how about if we reversed it and we just let the brakes, as long as there's hydraulic fluid in it, be locked? So that if the mouse, eats through it, is open.
Yeah.
So if the mouse eats through it, guess what? They lock up. So if the mouse eats through it, the worst situation is the train stopped. That's okay. It didn't kill anybody. So you different, reverse thinking, 180-degree thinking, come up with the stupidest idea. We can't solve this problem. Let's make it worse. And then you might learn something. Oh, wait a minute. How about this?
An idea along these lines, three ways to get up the hill. That's like asking employees to think of three job-related goals or targets or tasks that they think cannot be accomplished, or whatever, and ask them to come up with 3 ways each of these goals, targets, might be accomplished anyway. That's all. That's the kind of a reverse thinking in a way too.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. You're asking employees to give you, and again, back to Jack Welch. I respect the man. I want a big, hairy, audacious goal. BHAG, he called it, B-H-A-G. I want you to think of something we couldn't possibly do, but if we were able to do it, oh boy, we'd be in good shape. I don't know about 3, but come on, let's come up with something would be fantastic, but we couldn't possibly do it. Now let's figure out, well, how could we do it? Okay. It takes discipline. It takes sitting down with your team, with people, with rules. It just takes discipline to do this stuff. Ernest Hemingway said, how do you come up with all these new books? He said, every single day I walk across that bridge to my treehouse and I type for 4 hours. What if you're not inspired? I go across the bridge, I sit my butt in the chair and I type. If I'm typing about my cats, I'm typing, I'm working. It takes discipline. It's the way any book is written. I've taken courses on how to write a book.
Yeah.
The hardest part, sit down and write.
And do it, yeah.
Okay? You can take some of it out
God.
later. Write about whatever it is. Write about the painting on the wall. Write. Just write. It takes discipline.
There is such a thing as the left brain, right brain
Yes.
idea that
Yes.
dividing, so-called left brainers are the linear, rational,
Yeah.
logic, analytical people. From
Yeah.
the right brainers are the kooks, non-linear, intuitive, creative. Yeah.
I'm being left-handed, I'm right-brained. And no, I'm not. I'm intuitive, I'm thinking, I see to the pants. I'm always coming up with my ex-boss once said to me, this guy comes up with more ideas in a day than most people come up in a year. And some of them are really stupid. Well, thank you. But it's a safe environment, so I can come up with stupid ideas too.
There's also the idea of fresh eyes, so
Yep.
to speak, making it possible for employees who do not normally interact with one another to get together. And,
Absolutely
mixing and
different,
matches.
in line with the restaurateur, not just thinking about what the restaurants are doing, what are other businesses doing that I can bring into that intergalactic thinking. This is very similar. Bring in somebody who's just totally a different division, a different country, sit down, and again, brainstorm some ideas. What do you think? What do you see through these fresh eyes? You're not looking, you not have the blinders on.
Right. And the reboot, the last one is reboot your brain. It's allow for a break time, walk around the building, sit outside, go to your tree house. Do something.
Close the office door, shut the phones off, tell your secretary I'm not taking calls for the next hour.
Right.
Shut the light off, sit in a chair, create the thinker, whatever you have to do, absolutely.
Okay. Well, thank you again for being with us at Fox Robbins. And here we're talking about the clever ideas or ways to approach creative thinking, get ideas
Yep.
rumbling inside your company. And feel free to contact us at foxrobbins@gmail.com with your ideas, suggestions, comments, and the rest. And we will.
And by the way, all your ideas are good, so
All your
just send them
ideas
in.
are
They're
great.
fine. We'll throw them in the bucket later, some of them. Don't be afraid.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.